Another update on the Reg testing rig. I've kind of got some stuff mounted up, and we'll kind of go through that as I circle around here. Computer, got my software. I'm still waiting for a power supply to show up so I can power these transducers up consistently. The other thing is I don't know if I'm going to go with a virtue clock or if I'm going to use a chronograph that connects to a computer so I can gather that data this way. I know this will connect to my phone. I think I can download the data. I got to futz with that a little bit more. Now there, hey, look at a great use of the old drop forwards to get enough elevation to be able to adjust the regulators and be able to take the regulators on and off rather quickly. And so it looks kind of wonky, but I had a box full of these things. Look at drops, tons of them. No one wants them anymore, so I keep them. And I found a good use for them, which is pretty funny. This is not necessarily a test rig. The idea here is I have some thumb screws where I can swap out the test rigs rather quickly and just screw it up to that to the bottom of that frame there. Here's the transducer setup on this side. Have a male to female or female to male connector here that has the port on the side for the transducer. It's a Palmer's part, and it's a fairly decent hole in there, so I'm not worried about over volumizing it and not having a big enough passage. It's just the right amount of space there. Let me go around here once again. It's like a cap drop forward or a psychoballistics drop forward that I've mounted to the board. And there's a specific reason why I use this type of the ASA on off. One reason why is I can connect the transducer to it, and the other is I can connect the macro line to it. And so it has two output ports, and I can got one here. It's off the side here. What I like about these is it's got a pin that will activate, I think, every one of the everything in focus here, all of the regs out there, and it's nice and open. It has zero restriction, and I'm not worried about testing these things, but I just wanted something to be out of the equation that I know this just flows absolutely fine, and that my only restriction area will be any holes or hoses, diameters of those and stuff like that. The other thing is I'm waiting for an adapter between the tank and the reg, so I can easily swap out regs between the tank. And that adapter has a transducer mounted on it, so I get tank pressure. So I'll have tank pressure, I'll have output pressure of the regulator into the second stage regulator, output pressure of that regulator into the valve, and I'll be able to test all of those at the same time on the software while shooting the marker with either reball or whatever. I'll use a muffler. I'll try different things. I'll see what works out to be the best, and be able to gather all that data into the software. And so I'll have the feet per second and how these operate together. And then finally, I'll be able to possibly take a new regulator and kind of do a dyno run on it, right? See how it performs. Then take it apart and do some tuning on it, and see if that tuning changes the performance of it. Okay, and then see if breaking in a regulator, how long that kind of takes. I'll have to really find something that's brand new and just kind of really work on getting the shot count on how many cycles this regulator cycle before we start seeing things change, or if there is any change in it. So kind of maybe able to debunk or prove that myth. But essentially, that's it. Go around. Expensive part on this are these transducers, and then my picoscope, which is a 4-channel, so I'll be able to do 3 transducers, and if I decide to do some sort of a temperature gauge or whatever, I'll be able to monitor that. But I am going to get a barometric pressure gauge, so the barometric pressure of my elevation is different maybe from where you live, and I want to be able to equate that all out too. So this is the barometric pressure where this was tested, and hopefully the temperatures of that. I was talking to a couple folks in the industry that they said they've tried the tank pressure temperatures and they didn't notice a significant change to warrant even monitoring that. So I'm just going to use probably air temperature. But there we go. Kind of a mock-up of the test bed. And that things are progressing, although slowly, they are progressing.